How's it going, guys? Still March 28th, 5:33 p.m. Have to take off here in a few minutes to head over to some dog training for my dog. Um, but I did want to talk about one other thing, my mindset during adversity. And just write something down real quick. Sorry about this. But when I have these ideas, I always keep pen and paper by hand or my phone. But I'm using my phone as a backup light for this. But I always keep pen and paper by hand so I can write things down whenever they come to me because sometimes I have good ideas and other times when I'm trying to remember those good ideas, I can't necessarily remember them or recall them. My short-term memory is not what it used to be. But I did want to talk about my mindset during adversity or whenever I encounter something that's not so positive. I have this mindset, which I think has helped me through my career, through anything that I've done at any moment in time. I always have this mindset that everything always works out for me. Everything will always work out for me. I'm never given anything more than I can handle, and I always think that I can handle more than what I'm given. So I'll give you an example. Sometimes I think my schedule is full and I will input more stuff into my schedule just to just to challenge myself. And some days I don't reach quite everything, and then other days I get done kind of early. And if you get up at a decent time and you tackle everything you have to do that day by, let's say, noon or 1 o'clock, then you have the rest of the day to do whatever it is you want. But we all tend to procrastinate because it's just a matter of what's important to you at that point in time. Um, but I did want to speak more on my mindset when I do encounter adverse things, and when I think that I'm not going to be able to do this or do that. I always think to myself that it's always going to work out for me, and it always has, and it always will, because that's just what happens. And I think with that type of mindset, that there's nothing that anybody can throw at me that I can't handle. Even if I don't know what I'm doing and I get thrown into something, I try to use it as a learning experience, or as some would call a character building experience, to make me better, make me more prepared for next time, to learn a new skill or learn something else added to my repertoire of what I already know and be able to talk about it in future experience. Um, and that's kind of the way I look at different adverse things. And I think that if people change the way that they look at things, and I was listening to this great mentor, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he said there's two different ways you look at something. You either look at it as an opportunity or an obligation. I found that really interesting. And I tend to look at things more as an opportunity. Sometimes, yeah, there's obligations that you have to do that you're not so excited about doing. But when you're thrown a bunch of things, and it really depends on how you look at it, where your mindset is at that point in time, that will really guide you into either that experience being successful or unsuccessful in your eyes. And it truly starts with how you look at it. And for me, it's always eye opening and challenging when I get new things, and always the new scares people. Moving to a new place, starting a new job, um, dating a new girlfriend, but everything had to start somewhere. Going to a new school, starting a new class, everything starts somewhere. And that changing experience really, it's how you look at it. And if you stop looking at things as an obligation and more so as an opportunity, your mindset will change and your life will change. And I noticed that no matter how bad my adversity has been, and I've been in some pretty unfortunate situations, I know in my heart and in my mind that it's always going to work out for me. And I always use that to my advantage. So if I start to get down, to get hard on myself, or think that things just aren't going to pan out for me, I just know that it always works out for me. And Sometimes you have to use your instinct to make those decisions, and you have to really rely on yourself and know in your heart of hearts that it's everything will be fine. Everything will be okay. It may not be as good as you like it. It may not be as bad as you like it. It may be better than what you thought. And those are the opportunities that I live for, is when I can exceed my expectations. And if sometimes you set your expectations too high, you'll be let down a lot more. If you set your expectations low, then you will exceed them a lot more often. You'll be excited about those expectations because you will have crushed them. And that to me is my mindset on a lot of different things. Whenever I'm faced with adversity or new challenges or things, I always try to reassure myself that everything will be fine. And I remember I talked about this briefly, but when we were moving and I didn't know what I was going to do as far as work wise and how things were going to be handled, I really didn't know. But I rest assured and I reassured my wife that everything always works out in my life. And in a way, that everything will always work out in her life. There is no doubt in my mind that everything will work out. If she takes a little while to get a job, then she wasn't meant for the other jobs that she applied for and turned down or either got turned down for. Um, and that's just the way that I look at things. There's all these opportunities in the world, and it really depends on how you look at those opportunities. And I would try to stay clear of calling opportunities obligations, because that's a fine line that gets crossed, and one has a negative connotation, obligation, and one has a positive connotation, opportunity. And if you're more the optimistic, you think opportunity. And if you're more the pessimistic, you think obligation. But I'm a very positive person. I'm a very real person. Some people say optimistic people lack realism, and I don't believe that whatsoever. Their realism is positivity, and your realism can be negativity if you choose to be a pessimistic and look at the glass half empty. It's always really half full, and it's just depend on your outlook on life. But if you change that mentality and change it to a positive way of thinking, I promise you, good things will happen to you, and that positivity will be reciprocated on many different avenues of your life. I can't stress that enough. It's the mindset and the way you look at things that will really define how even your day will go, how the next minute will be in your life. Really depends on how you look at it. And if you open it and embrace it with open arms and really think of it as an opportunity every minute to learn something, to do something, to grow from it, you're constantly changing whether you realize it or not, whether you agree with it or don't. Your cells, your being, your moving, you're changing every single day. You're aging every single day. And that change is happening whether you like it or not. So why not make friends with it? Um, why not be a part of it? Why not make something of it and use that change to your advantage? That's the way I look at it. And my mindset has gotten me through some difficult times and has got me some things that I never thought were going to be achievable in my lifetime. And I'm still relatively young. And I have these huge ambitions, huge goals for this mentoring platform that I've begun on my own and that I've kind of sought to do on myself. Um, I mean, nobody was really wanting me or pushing me to do it. I got some advice that I should do it, but nobody really geared me towards it. That took my own will to get that done. And I am, it may not be perfect. These videos may still be shoddy at best, but I think the information is what's valuable. And I still look at it as an opportunity every single day to sit down in front of this camera and leave the people who watch my videos with some impartial wisdom that can be passed on, and some information that may be good for years to come. And I look at it as an opportunity to help other people, and not an obligation. I do this on my own free will. I don't, as of now, I haven't made a penny off of this. And I don't know if I ever will, but I'm doing it because I want to. If good things happen because of it, which I'm expecting great things to happen, then so be it. I'll welcome those changes and those opportunities with open arms, as should everybody. But if you don't try to make an effort into something you love to do, then you really never make an effort in anything, in my opinion. And just thinking about that logically, I want to reiterate what I just said. And if you don't make an effort into what you love doing, then why would you make an effort into something you don't? So, and I mean that into jobs, into family, into spouses, relationships, and it applies almost on a bunch of different levels. But if you're not putting effort into something you love, whether it be a person, place, a thing, following your dream, then why would you do it into anything else? Why would you place that effort? Why would you go to a job where you're not happy, where you're gonna subperform, and you're not gonna be good at your job? Why don't you just take a chance and try to be good at something that you would love to do, even if the pay isn't that great, like it is with this. Like I said, I haven't made a cent, and it takes up some time in my day that I won't get back, but at least I have these videos to reflect upon and really use it as a tool to follow my dreams. And you have to continually do stuff and try to grow from your experiences almost on a daily basis. I feel like if you don't take advantage of that, then you kind of fall wayside. The successful people that I keep mentioning are always growing, always changing. They're always adapting. And you constantly have to do those types of things in order to stay on top and to get on top. So I think that's enough information for this video. Again, the goal of this video was to talk about my mindset during adversity and the types of ways that I look at things as more of an opportunity rather than an obligation. So I'll leave you with that. I just was checking, I'm still at 52 subscribers, but I had reached my goal for this month of 50, which at the end of this month here in a couple days, I'll be doing a review of the previous month. I'm trying to use a different technique as well for guiding my weight. I was looking at it almost every day before and noticing that wasn't helping me all that well. So I really haven't looked at a scale in a while, but I will to monitor my progress at the end of the month and see if maybe some changes I've made have either helped or not helped in that arena, along with all the other goals I set for this month and accomplishments that I'd like to do. So again, I appreciate you guys watching, liking, commenting, subscribing as usual, and I will see you guys on the next one.